and gentlemen, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my shop. My name is Keith. I'm your host today, but anybody could be the host. Hey, the last 2 months that I haven't been doing a video, the others in the community have been carrying the load. I get emails, handwritten letters, I get phone calls, I get packages sent in, and little notes within those, and they're saying, hey, hope you're doing okay. And we miss your videos, even though we've been watching all of these other guys. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the community that has been built on YouTube. And we're all across the nation and over into the UK, Australia, all over the world. And most of the community is on my feature page in relatable channels. If anybody wanted to just surf that out. And, you know, if you're out there, you started a channel and you would like to be on my featured page there, send me a note and I'll put a link up there as well. That's what it's all about. So, I'm back. I want to do a short video here. And what we have is we have a one of these air pumps for a leaf blower or whatever it is. It's a auxiliary engine drive here. And my concern is not what the thing does, but to modify this woodruff key. The woodruff key comes from the factory in this shaft, and the key that they gave me sits proud in here, and it's actually higher than the pulley here. And they feel that it's not down in there deep enough because they've had failure in this position before where this has actually failed on the main shaft. So they want to try a deeper woodruff key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up in the mill and we're going to put it a little deeper. So I do have a new key seat cutter. Happens to be the right size. I had it for another job, and surprisingly I still have the container for it because sometimes I just throw them into the drawer afterwards. So we're going to set this up. Now, this is not like having a plain shaft and just dropping it in the vise and coming over and setting your cutter and your part and put it in position related to the two widths and diameter of the shaft. So we can't put this in the vise because this is already this is a weldment. This is all together, so it's not like that shaft sticking out here and doing it the easy way. We're going to go ahead and we're going to set this up. I'll pull this out of here real quick. We're going to take a V-block and then we're going to set it hanging off the table. We're going to toe clamp it down lightly because we're going to need to reference it. We're going to use the back side of this against the table to reference this. Remember, we're not cutting a long slot, and we're not milling something that's a long travel. If you have to use up your travel of your table, you're going to want to get something more accurate than just putting the square against the face right there. We could put an indicator and we could dial that shaft, but it's not even that important because all we're going to do is we're going to locate the height, kind of eyeball forward and back, or in and out the length of that shaft there, and then we're going to poke that cutter right into the side. Alright, so that's the plan. So let me go ahead and grab some all thread toe clamp, and we'll get you in probably on the other side here looking into our setup, and then we're going to move the head on over on the mill and get the spindle over where we need to, because we're not going to be able to bring this section of the mill underneath the spindle. So we're going to loosen up the head and we're going to move it over to accommodate our need. We have the keyway on this side because it works in clockwise. If you're looking down, the cutter does. And I'd rather have the force pulling in against the table than coming over here on this side and like trying to push it out. So if you're going to give it a position or a chance to have a grab or anything else, I'd rather have it pulling against something that's going to hold it rather than pushing it against something that could be free. All right. So I'm just taking and I'm dropping this in, dropping the end of the clamp into the T-nut slot, and I'm just kind of like hanging it on off the side right there. I'm not really clamping it down. I'm just holding it lightly so that I can go ahead and swing my head over to the position now. So let's go ahead and loosen up the head. Get ready to swing it over and extend it out. Okay, we should be free now. All right. Now let's loosen it up and we can extend it out. We can probably bring the table in somewhat too, but yeah, we'll bring it back in just a little bit here. Okay. All right, we're going to tighten everything down. We got a clamp set up here. All right, cool. All right, and we'll get the right angle of the dangle there. That's going to be in close enough. I think we're going to still clear our spindle and everything else. We'll know when we get a little closer to that. All right, I'm not going to... Well, I can lightly tighten that now, I think. And this is lightly tightened. And I can pull off this clamp now, because we're going to want to rotate this once we find height. Okay, that's sagging down. We need to at least make sure it's toe clamp tight somewhat there, and we can still move this side to side. All right, as long as we know it's not angling back there, and we can hold this in. This has a little bit of art to it or bow to it, because this is, like we said, this is a weldment. So all weldments, even as well constructed as this one looks, welding causes warpage, and this shows you that. Shows me that. You may not actually be able to see that. All right, let's go ahead and put our cutter into the spindle and come on down to our work. We got to bring the table up. Okay, we have our cutter in the collet and tight, and we toe clamp this down so that we know that we weren't moving around. This is pretty well rock solid. What we wanted to do is be able to set our height, okay, or our 0 point. So we're just coming down and we're lightly touching that, and now we can set our travel dial on our spindle. You might not have one of these modern chingaderos here, but I actually got one when I purchased this mill here, and we'll set this 0 to 0 right there, and then we can come up and we can move the table around and everything else, as long as we don't change our knee height. In fact, actually, if you don't have one of these new chingaderos here, then you could set your 0 on your knee and then crank your knee up the needed distance. Okay, now just for facts, our shaft is 1 inch 62, half of that is 531. Our cutter is 1/4 inch, half of that is 1/8 inch. Together, that makes 656 thousandths. We're going to drop from this touch-off point, and that's how we determine exactly center. Now that we found out what we got as far as height here, we're going to bring it over, and then we're going to stick it in the slot and create or tighten it down with it in the slot to get our perfect fit. Bring her up, bring her over. We're going to come down that 656. There's 600 and $640 and I'm out of travel. Okay, we're going to come back over. We're going to set our height and we're going to bring it up a few thousandths here. Okay. We can probably even come up a little bit more. Okay, all right, that'll be fine. Okay, well, let's reset our 0 and make sure I'm tight here, holding this down. Okay, there's our 0. You already know what new chingaderos looks like. Okay, come up. Now we're going to come down to 656. And I'm going to engage the hand wheel here so I can lightly adjust it right there. Okay, there's where our center is supposed to be at. So now we just loosen this up so we can slide this or rotate this, and we're gonna stick her in. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in neutral because we want to be able to spin our, so that we know that we're stress free in there. This is how we're figuring out that we're actually in that slot and everything is lined up and we're not dragging. I'm going to finish tightening it down. We're square on the back as close as I think we need to be. And we're good and snug there. And I feel good there. All right, now we're going to lock that down. We're going to lock up and down on our table. Still got a free feel there. All right. Now I'm going to have to get my mirror and I'm going to eyeball and make sure that I'm in line off of the end of this in the center of the slot. Okay, I know it's kind of hard from your vision, but I brought it in and then I rotate this around and I can hear it hitting. So it's hitting on this side here because I take the mirror and I can see clearance on this side here, and I know it's hitting on this side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crank the table in slightly and then rotate it, and now I see I'm hitting over here, slightly back. Okay, we're somewhere in the middle and we know that we're hitting both in and out, so I'm going to crank the table towards me a little bit. Okay, now it's going out of this side here, so we're going to go ahead and crank the table in a little bit. Okay, there we go. We're pretty darn close to the center there, within probably 10-15 thousandths. All right, I'm going to lock my in and out. And now I'm going to bring this out, and we're going to eyeball this with the cutter to the edge of that, and we're going to take a measurement on our depth, set it at 0, and then we're going to measure the key and how much sticks out and how much we need to go in, and then we're going to take the difference of that. So I'm just cranking this in until I actually see it flush with the top surface there. We're all going to be within eyeball, and we're going to be setting this, I can eyeball at least within 5 thousandths here with no problems. All right, I like that. We're going to call that 0, and we're going to set that on our readout. I'm measuring a stick out of 200 on a key, and this slot here is 1/8 of an inch, plus or minus 5 thousandths there. So we're going to say that we need to make this slot or key woodruff key slot about 75 thousandths deeper. All right, so we're going to come in, we're going to pop this out of here, we're going to measure this this overall depth, length that this sets in here, and then we're going to come in and touch and take our 75 thousandths. We've got her engaged now in our gear, That's the slowest speed that can turn. All right, and we're gonna come on in, and right about, there's 2,000, 1,000. Okay, right there is a 0. I'm just gonna make sure that we're snug there, snug there. I'm just checking all my table tensions there. Okay. That's at 138 on the depth there. We are really close to that clamp, and I'm almost wondering if I'm actually going to have enough room on that clamp. We're at 204. $210. So that's about 40 from where we felt like we were touching on the depth there. Oh, Debbie's growling, huh? That's 243. Okay, there's 251. Okay, we're going to back her out and we're going to see where we're at there. We do still have clearance in between that clamp, surprisingly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and come up and give myself some room here. And we're going to fit that key in, and we're going to check the height again. We took our calipers and we measured from the height of this key and cut in here and this side over here, and we got 171. And then we took our calipers and we went over the top of the key to the back side of this shaft here, and we have 196. So we basically have about 25 thousandths more to go on the depth. Maybe with 26 or 27 would be more comfortable. Just making sure that we have a couple thousand. So that's you know, we're right close. We're doing good, and pull this back out of here. There we go. Still nice and tight, so we're doing good on our width and our height adjustment on here. Okay, let's come on in some more. Okay, coming at 200, we were at 250, there's 235, 245, 248, there's 252. All right, so all we need... is 260. $270. $274. $275. Okay, I went ahead and stuck it in her 280. Okay, whoop, dropped it. Got shit on it. All right. These really work nice on putting key seats in here squarely, because you can, the nice smooth jaws, you can just get it right in there and it parallels right out. Okay, now let's go ahead and measure that, and let's just hope we're under that 171. And I'm at like 158, 159. So we're good. We've got about 10 thousandths clearance right there, and we're in there nice and deep. Okay, I'm gonna be happy with that. Let's pull it out and check the fit on the pulley. All right, let's check her out. Nice. This actually probably has a worn bore being used on several other. It does have a little bit of play, so part of their problem may not necessarily be the key all the time. This should be a snugger fit to the shaft if it's relying a little bit more. It does have something that sandwiches it in here, probably the bearings and everything else, so it all comes into play. But we did what they asked. They wanted that in there deeper, and I am in there with a nice amount of clearance over the top. Not excessive, but nice. Really is. All right, I'll take a photo of that real close, because you can see that I am real close to that. Real nice. Real happy with that. All right. That's it for the short little video on setting something up off the side of the table. And no worries. We'll just slide the head back in position there and regroup and be on our way. Till next time, get her done. Hey, a little share. This is a new piece of artwork I've created. This is a dragon. These are 22 inches long and about 9.5 inches tall. On the back, I solder on 2 hangers, and I also sign and date it. These are finished off, colored, and clear coated. They're $69 on my website. You can get my swag and my other artwork there as well. And a reminder, T-Blasters always has my shirts. All right, we're getting back to it. Actually, got a phone call. Catch you later.